Hello, everybody. Proxy Table Gaming PTG. I am Hyper G with Lucky Sixes.
Ciao, Bella.
It's been a little while since we've had that one. But you've been to Italy lately.
I have. So... That's apt.
I thought you were going to tell us what that meant. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming it's some form of hello, but
I think it's hello, girl. Which isn't the best thing to do on a holiday with your missus.
Well, unless it's to
greeting her all the time. I clearly just greeted her all the time.
Of course you did. Yes. Well, we are in round 2 of Cardiff, the Welsh Open.
We are.
And I haven't started very well.
You're not on the top tables.
I'm not on the top tables. I'm not on the bottom table somehow. But I am on the same amount of points now as I started round 1 with.
But we won't give any spoilers. So if you do want to go back and sort of...
if you don't want to go back and watch round 1, that doesn't give everything away. So yes, only way is up. Submarine, maybe, not intentionally.
Yes.
But I have got a really cool matchup for my round 2 because it's my Orcs and Goblins, of course, versus the Asklanders.
Yeah, rather
only Asklanders in the tournament. Yeah,
the rather infamous Askalander listed player.
Yeah, Dawid. I think that's how his name is said properly. We have Frontline Clash with an asterisk and Breakthrough for round 2
because, of course, it is the Cardiff Open with Rob. Throwing in some extra stuff for the objectives and deployments.
Indeed. And you very kindly threw this over to me. The explanation of what the deployment type and objectives means, etc. So basically, this was classic Frontline Clash and Breakthrough, except for the fact that you were blind deploying.
Yeah.
Basically, you went away at the start of the battle for a couple of minutes and you drew on a piece of paper, which was kindly provided by Rob, of course, where you were planning on placing your units and then revealed them as you were dropping them, effectively. Really cool. I love this. And I think it's a really good way of avoiding the whole wooden board in between the two held. It's really cool. Really
we had a lunch break to look at the table and do everything, so that definitely helped rather than rushing it and things. And they were Rob made it very clear that it wasn't. You didn't have to be right to the inch here and everything like that. So it was fairly laid back, but roughly in the right positions on the paper that it was deployment. So it was quite cool, quite an interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah, really cool. And what made it easier for me, because I'd never played Asklanders ever, apart from in Essence of War. Dawid went through his entire army and told me everything about it. And that was literally as I started reading the Asklander book. He was like, I'll just tell you what mine does. And he was really, really cool for that. So quality opponent right from the off. So let's see how we go. This is the Orcs and Goblins list. Thank you, Duncan Triggs, for clarifying that the chap called Azanax is the Orc Shaman, the Feral Orc Shaman. So he shall now be remembered as that, hopefully. That's my list. Go back a couple of reports if you want to hear a bit more about it. And Dawid's list, Asklanders. So obviously he explained everything, what it did before the battle. I've now forgotten. So, we'll do our best here. Aslander Chief on a Wasteland Behemoth, which is scary. BSB, 2 Aether icons. A decent amount of armor, touch of greatness on its weapon, rerollable once. Nice, very cool. You'll see how beautiful Dawid's models are as well very shortly. I took a few pictures. So he's got an Aslander Chief, who's the general with the Jarl upgrade or whatever. On a War Day, shield, Dust Forged. I don't know what Gungor's armor is, and I don't really know what the Biagifleal spear is, or what the Harper Braggy is.
He's very not great. He's a very Askalander chief. He's used all of his own thing.
I'm going to say he's quite killing.
A very proud Askalander chief there.
Oh, absolutely. There's another Askalander chief with shield and berserker bell pelt. I guess that means he's quite armored. He got the longship raid upgrade, which means that his berserkers further down can ambush, which is quite scary because berserkers are scary.
I think the berserker's bear pelt is something to do with getting an extra armor in combat.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I think that makes sense. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, could well be. Wizard is shamanism. Magical heirloom, talisman of the void. Nice. Then his core got big unit of Asklanders, small unit of Asklanders. Not entirely sure what the Raven banner is either. That's really bad.
It's something to do with movement, wasn't it?
Yeah, you'd have thought so. Yeah. 10 Asklander horsemen with the Stalker standards, 2 units of 5 warhounds, 7 ice trolls, baby. We like that. And you also like the wargs. You're a big fan of those, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of the wargs, yes.
Yeah. And a marauding giant to complete the club. It's got a lot of threats, and it's pretty solid throughout. With a bit of chaff.
I do prefer the ice trolls. Though. The ice trolls seem to be just the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's like my weakness is flaming.
Yeah. So good.
Amazing. Right, so this was my picture of my deployment going in. So judge me harshly on how close I get to it when you see how I actually deploy. I don't know whether I should say what my stuff is here or there. Probably when we see the pictures. To be fair. It'd be easier. This is Dowid's with a bit of crossing out all over the place. But
mine had crossing outs, to be fair.
Yeah, he gets it pretty spot on. So I'll say that right from the off. The crossing out didn't matter or whatnot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was all good. The one thing he did was he forgot to deploy his giant on his piece of paper, and I just said, "Put him where you like," and he did. So we weren't worried, and I'll confess, I was not thinking about matchups. I was just like, breakthrough and where do I want my orcs? Not worried about what you do.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know whether that's the right tactic or whether most people did that. I don't know. Interested to hear what you would do in a blind deployment, what your thoughts are in the comments, if you want to give us them.
Absolutely.
So this is how we go. So yeah, I was actually quite proud of how close I got to my piece of paper, actually. So hopefully you don't spot any major glaring errors. But we've got 2 units of Feral Orc Head Bashers on the left flank, and the core unit of Feral Orc Ball Boys slightly diagonally behind a Mangler, Wrecking Team, sorry. My idea was breakthrough, and if Dawid didn't oppose that flank, I was just going to march them into his deployment zone. We can already see that Dawid has opposed that flank, but I didn't know that. So that's potentially off the ball. But well, no, whatever, we'll work it out. The Scout Spiders, they scouted to. Well, no, actually, I think I deployed them. Yeah, they were on the piece of paper. I deployed them with the Nashers behind. Got my Raiders in almost conga formation on the left side of the Feral Orcs. The Chariots behind. Gargantula in the field. The Common Orcs on the right side, and another Wrecking Team on the far right. So splitting up the Wrecking Teams quite a lot there. I didn't know where his dogs were going to be, Warhounds.
Yeah, they don't have much shooting otherwise, do they? So
none at all. And even shamanism isn't really a ranged thing, other than maybe a swarm of insects.
Yeah.
And I didn't want his war dogs being able to do what Ben Dunford did against me at Art of War and eliminate both of them with one unit of dogs. So split them up big time. Scuzzler is in the forest. You can just about see his white legs. And I'll go through Dawid's deployment, and then we'll have a closer look at his army. You can see the berserkers slightly off the table, going to be coming in ambush later. He's got a unit of warhounds on the far left, just slightly off the board. The smaller Asklanders, then a almost conga unit, another warhounds. The big unit of Asklanders has got his general, the Jarl, in it. The wizard is in the small Asklanders for info. Then he's got his ice trolls pretty much bang in the center. I was really thinking to myself, get those trolls away from his general. and not deal with the trolls. But there's that. The Aslander Chieftain BSB on the Behemoth is the big boy in the forest, which is very intimidating.
Very much
the wargs are just in front of where the giant eventually gets deployed. And the horsemen, whatever they're called, are on the far corner. So he had a similar idea with breakthrough, really. If I didn't oppose the right flank, his horsemen were going to run in and vice versa, really. So, right, let's have a look at these beautiful Asklanders. And I mean, pictures don't do them justice. You have to see this army. It is absolutely amazing. The unit fillers are spot on. Everything is just gorgeous. He did actually break a bit of his Jarl, which needed gluing on afterwards, which was a tragedy when they're so well painted.
They are. They're lovely.
But if anyone can fix it, Dowd is the man.
They're always up there for best painted as well.
Always, yeah. It is just beautiful. I mean, that just looks like real ice, as far as I'm concerned, on the ice trolls. So yeah. nice work. I mean, yeah, it's just gorgeous. The colours he gets on these things is insane. Yeah. Just I'll stop talking. I'll just stop talking. Yeah. Just admire. Righty then, let's get to business. I chose what side I wanted, which meant that Dowd chose to go first, and he moved forward pretty much. Not as aggressively as he could. He is an all-combat army, so it was quite tentative. Obviously, he didn't want to rush it, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, a slow advance on this flank, and relatively slow on the other flank as well. In Magic, he gets Totemic Summon off. I couldn't stop it.
There you go.
And he breath weapons one of the wrecking teams. So immediately I'm like, oh man. The breath weapon wounding on 5s, I think.
The Totemic Summon is pretty good against them, actually, isn't he? Because they're both
very good
3d6, so he just has to outdice you.
Exactly, yeah. And the hard target of the wrecking team doesn't come into effect for a breath weapon.
Yeah.
So yeah, good work. The Orcs didn't panic. On this flank, on my side, I'm very tentative going towards him as well. Obviously, my breakthrough plan has failed. I need to think of another way to get breakthrough to work.
Yeah.
But I moved the Scuttler Spiders. They vanguarded and then moved in front of the Trolls on the right-hand side. Might be underneath us. Don't know. And the Mangler didn't move very far forward, but far enough. I know it did move quite far forward because it was in front of the Feral Orcs, the Ball Boys, the core unit. And the Nashers just move up to make a bit of a line of units, really.
Yeah.
My objective here is to stop his core Asklanders from getting into my deployment zone. I'm not planning on using them to get in his zone.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think I can get through all that with my relatively light units. Just want to stop him getting to mine.
Sure.
On this flank, Gargantula moves to meet the Totemic Summon, and the Common Orcs move sideways as far as they can, away from the Totemic Summon. This isn't my best play in the world, ever. We'll see why shortly. So I get Cascading Fire and Blaze on the Wargs, and I think Dowd is counting down to do 2 wounds, which is all right.
It's pretty good against re-rolling.
Yeah. It was only D6 on the
Cascading
Fire.
Riz 4 or 5?
This is the Wargs, not re-rolling.
Oh, sure.
So it's only 2 wounds, but yeah.
Sure.
There are Riz 5, yeah. I think they're Riz 5.
Yeah, so with no armor. Decent.
So, yeah. It's all right. One of the Warhounds, obviously, uses the Release the Hounds ability. I didn't realise they had it. Dowd did say it wasn't a tricky thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he uses that and takes out the other one. So I'm 2 wrecking teams down and already. In his turn 2, continuation of his turn 2. The Berserkers are on.
Ooh.
That's a problem. That
is not nice.
That means I can't be defensive for very long.
Yeah. Are they scoring?
No, they are not scoring because they're pretty much frenzied, flagellant kind of things.
Sure.
Breakthrough is not threatened by them, but everything else is threatened.
Everything else is,
So yeah, that's a problem. Over here, he moves up as so, and the Totemic Summon rolls enough to get into the flank of my Common Orcs.
Yeah.
What am I doing with the Gargantula, mate? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? The Gargantula cannot see the Totemic Summon.
He overruns anyway, so there's not much.
He does overrun
it's
anyway.
Not
but there's a chance that I actually stick from that if I roll. Yeah. He's probably going to win by 1 or 2 for a flank, a charge, and maybe killing 1 or 2. But there's a chance with my BSB in general in range although no, actually, technically, I had to remove models from the left of the unit as they died.
You did, yeah.
Which took me further from the BSB. Yeah. So the discipline check is not ideal.
Your main issue is that the Gargantua can't see anything else. Right?
Exactly, yeah. He's just moved up with no threat at all there. It was woeful. It was woeful on my part, and fair play to Howard. Took full exploits of it. Over here, he didn't charge the Scuttle Spiders, which is fine. No rush with the Ice Trolls, keeping them in range. The other Warhounds move up to be an annoyance to my Ferals, Ball Boys. I need to decide whether or not to clear the chaff or leave it, a bit like he's doing with my Spider unit in front of the Trolls. Over here, he makes it worse for my Chariots by blocking them in with another Totemic Summon. He was just getting all these spells through. I don't know what I was stopping, but I'm pretty boxed in now with those Chariots. They're only movement 9 because they can't march, and there's no one for them to charge. So gonna have to get my thinking cap on for this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because my Chariots are very squishy. Either of those units could be a problem going into their flank, or even if I turn to face them, which wouldn't be a good idea. So, the Totemic goes right through the common Orcs, despite their 2-up armor save. Strength 5 AP2, so I think he killed 2, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
3 attacks, killed 2. I thought maybe I would only lose 1. But either way, overruns to within an inch of Scuttler, the Spider. So that's lucky. But yes, complete stuff up on my part.
Yeah, wow. Totally, someone's going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I lost a Wrecking Team and a Common Orc 4 unit.
Yeah.
Big one, Ed Basher's unit as well. So, yes, not a great start on my part. Over here, I declare a charge with my core unit of Ferals onto the Warhounds, chaff clearance. My idea is to go forward and then keep him back while feeding him a core unit of Orcs, providing an overrun a decent amount. We'll see how that goes. And to clear a chaff unit, of course.
Yeah, get some
could be a problem for me later.
Yeah.
Over here, I give up on chaffing the Trolls, who are just not having it, and move the Scuttler Spiders over to chaff the big unit of Asklanders, while the Raiders chaff the Ice Trolls. This wasn't really a proper chaff for the big unit of Asklanders, because I'm not setting up really great counter charges. The Nashers are there in the flank, but they're not. I don't know if I really... Well, I suppose I'd kill a few before they kill me back. But his general is on that side, so...
Yeah.
It's not tricky. A great counter charge for the Nashers, but the idea is to just keep him back as long as I can, really, rather than letting him march full pelt towards my corner.
Is he in your front there?
He is in my front, I believe.
So what you perhaps could have done was angled it so that they were going to the right as we're looking at this, rather than straight forward.
Yeah, potentially.
But, at this early stage, it's not too much of an issue.
Yeah. Over here, this is my plan of how to get out.
Ooh, right. Problem. Cool.
I use the Relentless banner on the Feral Orcs and just say, okay, you've got Wogs, you've got Trolls, you've got BSB Behemoth.
Yeah.
I'm going for you then, fine. You've created me a big problem at home in my deployment zone. I declared the war cry in order to be able to do this, which meant the Chariots could now move 10 inches instead of 9.
Yeah.
Which was crucially what I needed to get out of the line of sight of the Berserkers. So it was kind of a waste of the war cry, but it's probably saved my Chariots.
Not really, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Has that...
meanwhile...
you can say your chap has he actually chaffed the Totemic from being able to get in?
The Totemic is not going to be able to get through the gap between the Scuzzler, the Ferals, to get into the... Because the back Orc is actually where the plastic is.
Right, okay.
Because it's unit, the square of the Ferals is bigger than it looks there. Because I've got 2 models in the back of the Ferals.
So it doesn't just pivot and go in any direction?
It does, but it would have to pivot around the Scuzzler, and by which point it would hit the Orcs first.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think so anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's what you've agreed with him and stuff. That's,
yeah. I don't know if we discussed it really, but if I hadn't got it right, then fair play. But it doesn't come up, so
sure.
Yeah. And now obviously the Trolls are chaffed by the Raiders instead. Over here I moved the Gargantua into a much better position.
Yeah.
So, finally waking up with him. I worked out the numbers on the Giant versus the Gargantua. And if the giant charges me with both agility 4, and that's perfect because he's only got 5 attacks.
Yeah.
And I think the Gargantua just beats up the giant. So I'm actually hoping that Dawid charges me. I don't want to charge him. If I charge him at agility 5 and build up his attacks, then he's a bit dangerous to me. So I'm hoping Dawid charges, if I'm honest. So yeah, he was into the front with the spiders, and my ferals overran quite a fair amount. Not quite getting into the other Asklanders unit, which would have been quite nice actually if I'd have charged him. There's only 15 of them, and there's only a wizard, and there is a wizard in there. So this way, however, he is higher agility rather than attacking at the same time, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's gonna kill me before I strike. Yeah. Over here, the totemic summons indeed do get the Scuzzler Spider. The other one gets into the rear of the chariots, which is a problem, but not as much of a problem if it had been the Berserkers.
Yeah, sure.
So, or the totemic summon into the flank of the chariots would have been less as well. I mean, the rear is not great, but yeah. There you go. And his ice trolls go into the raiders, so all is okay there. Dawid tried really, really hard to get the wargs out of the ferals line of sight. Couldn't quite make it, mainly because he failed a march test. So that was unlucky. I think they're only disciplined 5 on their own because the general's not anywhere near on that side.
And
did have a reroll.
Does charge the spider.
He does charge the spider. I was delighted. Whether I can get through the giant in one turn and then turn to face the horseman and then charge them with the spider.
Are they spears as well?
Sorry, light lances. Yeah, light lances or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I fancy that. If that goes well, then maybe I can make a recovery on that flank. The Berserkers, meanwhile, just turn to face the ferals and everything else for turn 4.
Yeah.
Destruction, perhaps. Here we go. So into the combat. And yeah, so the double 1 is the Giant's break test. Oh!
Amazing.
The giant does 0 wounds to my Gargantua, which is quality, and I just have to be happy. End sentence there. 0 wounds to my Gargantua is brilliant. With the 5 attacks he did, I think I did. So he's counting down. I don't know what the green marker signifies, but he's got 3 wounds left on the giant.
Sure.
So with a charge and no wounds to me, I was up by a fair amount. But double 1's double 1, right?
Double 1's double 1. That's cool, man.
Who cares how much you lose by?
Insane courage.
Roll a double 1, exactly. Yeah, that's fine. Just means I'm not in control of my Gargantua for my turn. Yeah, it's a shame. Over here, Scuzzler does a great job of not dying to the totemic summon, which is really going to get in the way of the Berserkers potentially if he can survive another round. And I only lose 1 wound on my chariots. That totemic summon didn't quite have the nous to get through my chariots, which is fine. I'm near my general in BSB, so I just hold that even with a -3 on my discipline, I think it was. But rerollable 6, I passed. So
sweet.
Happy with that. And yeah, I think that and the trolls have got through the raiders now. So I am all out of chaff, and I am very much boxed in, but you know. We'll see how we go. The small Asklanders get through the ferals core and run quite far forward, which unfortunately opens up a flank for my head bashers, which is cool. The big Asklanders kill the Scuzzler spiders, and don't move quite as far forward.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it looks like he's combat reformed instead of running forward, because he's facing forward as opposed to diagonal. So I think he's just reformed that one. I mean, I was in 2 minds now. Do I charge the small Asklanders or do I make a run for the breakthrough? I don't know if I can get through that gap is the only problem without charging, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. Well, you can swift reform.
Yeah.
And if I can move forward.
Avoid the second unit.
Yeah.
The swift reform, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Either way, I decide to go aggro, and I make a long charge with the Nushers, and the ferals come in the flank, double flank, deal with the small unit of Asklanders, even if I get absolute destruction from the big unit afterwards.
Sure.
Caution to the wind, really. And I've still got my small unit of Ed Bashers to maybe run past his Asklanders.
I was going to say, you didn't want them to go into there as well.
No, I didn't want to go into there as well. I suppose I could have done, but then I think I would have lost all 3 units.
Sure.
Afterwards. So the idea is for this one unit that's not charging to run past, and then if he gets his big unit in my deployment zone, I get this unit in his deployment zone. It's 1-1, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, David only has 3 scoring units. 2 of them are here. I only had the ferals left on the other flank, but still.
Sure.
They're the ferals.
Yeah.
So, over here, I declare the charge with the ferals. They're messing about. I feel like I can destroy those wargs before they strike because they're low agility, I think. Are they? I don't know. But either way, I think I can do.
I think they're 4, but
yeah, maybe they're 4. Yeah, I mean my ferals are only 3, but I mean I've got Deception of Glamour to potentially change that.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Double charge there. Nashers make it in.
Nice.
Good on them. He has got Awaken the Beast to increase strength on his Asklanders, so I might lose a few back in return. But yeah.
No, that's great.
And the Shaman, the Wizard has obviously got the Shamanism buff on him. So I'm wounding the Wizard on 5s. It's not like it's an assassination mission.
Yeah.
And I think the Shaman's in the middle anyway, so can't get him. This, however, was my roll to hit with the Nashers.
Oh, no.
Hitting on 4s, because Asklander's a defensive 4.
Yeah.
Dole. I mean, I was hoping to just nash. And yeah, no. So, and then in just this game is so weird kind of territory, the ferals go and kill a shed ton.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I mean, whatever I didn't do with the Nashers, the ferals did.
Yeah, totally.
And I kill like 2 ranks worth of Asklanders. He is still steadfast. So there's that. But
is did he kill 8 of your Nashers then?
No, he killed 3. This was a mistake on my part. He killed 3.
Yeah.
I told Dawid, and I thought that my Nashers were light troops.
I was going to say,
therefore didn't have a rank. However, I was wrong. Right. So Dawid, I am wrong, but it was in your favour in this regard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it meant you were steadfast.
Yeah.
However, I think the next. No, I won't say anything of that. Yeah, I was wrong. They're not light troops, so I should have broken steadfast here.
Sure,
but I didn't. And I think that might be fine in terms of comeuppance, if that makes sense, because I think I moved my Nashers as light troops during my turn 2.
Right, sure.
So I don't think it's a terrible thing to have got wrong in the big picture.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So I got Flaming Swords off on the Orcs, so they're going to be absolutely destroying some wargs. Except for the fact that's my dice roll to hit with the ferals. 0. Yeah, 0 battle focus.
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
Which is a problem. And I think he's defensive 4. So I'm hitting on 4s. Yeah, I'm not rolling to hit very well, am I? Yeah, there's that. However, my characters and the sheer weight of numbers is enough to destroy the wargs. I lose my Shaman in return, though, so my Pyro Wizard goes down. So Azanax is dead. Azanax, yeah, he's dead. And I also overrun in a kind of I'm going for your deployment zone, and I also want to threaten everything else on the board. I go gung-ho and not worry about where the Behemoth comes. Yeah. And I've opened up a flank to the Behemoth.
Yeah.
So, woo.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, interesting.
And you're in a forest, right?
And I'm in a forest, so yeah, that's great. We'll see how that goes. This is Darwood lining up his turn 4 or 5. Must be 4 because the Berserkers haven't moved again yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Skuzzler only goes and kills the Totemic Summon, which is absolutely ridiculous. You will notice I am down a chariot unit. The Totemic Summon did that. So I am actually all out of magic, apart from Crown of the Wizard King.
Right.
There you go. But we'll see how I go. Anything else on that? Picky. Yeah, so he holds his Asklanders on this side. I thought maybe I ran them down, but I didn't.
Sure.
This is we're having to speed up because we were running out of time. We were enjoying ourselves too much. And this is a few phases on. His big unit of Asklanders charges into the flank of the Nashers.
Yeah.
That means that he's easily able to kill the Nashers, and the Asklanders are easily able to win against the Feral Orcs that were in combat with their flank.
Yeah.
His small unit of Asklanders chases the Ferals off the table, which is kind of a double thing for him, because it means he's definitely stopping my Feral Orcs from running down the flank to get into his deployment zone.
Yeah.
Because I am movement like 14, I would have been able to get in his deployment zone 2 turns. Whereas with this Asklander unit there, I can't. So, good move, I guess.
How far are you from his objective?
I don't know. I don't know.
Have you got 1 turn left then?
I've got 3 turns left. This is top of the 4th. Right. We didn't get very far in terms of...
so you're not, as in you're not going to have time to...
No, we're not going to have a turn 5.
Okay,
yeah. Unless this is 5, but either way, it's there wouldn't be time.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, maybe knowing there wasn't time for my Ferals to get there, Dawid didn't need to put a small unit of Asklanders in the way and chase the Ferals. But he's guaranteeing the points for the Ferals by chasing them.
Sure.
The ones that were left. So there's that. One thing you might notice is the big unit of Asklanders. How close are they to my deployment zone? He needed to roll a 4 on his overrun.
Oh, man.
He rolled a 3.
Brutal.
He's not in my deployment zone at the end of his turn 4 or 5, depending on whatever it was.
Yeah, sure.
And we know we're not getting another turn. So that is brutal. Dawid has not managed to get one in my deployment zone. And there's nothing stopping him were we to have enough time for another turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really unlucky for him on this flank. Over here, the Gargantula, funnily enough, takes 2 wounds on the turnover, but that's because the Giant's attacking after the Gargantula. Oh no, sorry, that can't be right.
Which means
the Gargantula killed the Giant.
Yeah.
Which means that there's all sorts actually going on in this picture, isn't there? It's a bit of a fast forward, really, actually, because there's a few things I wasn't even looking up there.
So it looks like, I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong in terms of order, his trolls failed the long charge into your rear.
Correct.
Along with the Behemoth going in.
The Behemoth does go in.
Yeah.
No. So the trolls fail the rear charge on the Ferals. The Behemoth charges into the flank of my Feral Orcs. The Berserkers just move up, while the Horsemen charge the Gargantula that has dealt with the Giant, effectively. Dawid's Horsemen charge the Gargantula after the Gargantula dealt with the Giant, and this shows that they do 2 wounds on his turn.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
But the big talking point, of course, is the Behemoth into the flank of the Ferals.
Yeah.
Dawid issued a duel because he knew I could duel him out with a champion or with Shagger.
Yeah.
He knew the duel. Well, it would be on me to decide whether or not I wanted to duel if he didn't. Because obviously he had to. If I had offered the duel, he would have had to have accepted.
Yeah.
To avoid not attacking at all. But as it happened, Dawid was like, I'm going to issue the duel myself. Because, he's got the balls for it.
Bragging rights.
And Shagger stepped up. Only 5 attacks. The Behemoth I think I had taken 1 or 2 wounds from an earlier Quicksilver Lash.
Okay.
Which was the Crown of the Wizard King, which was also on Shagger. So, and Mr. Shagger only goes and rolls a few battle focus.
Nice.
And I've only got flaming swords on my Feral Orcs at the time, which means, because obviously that happened on Dawid's turn after I cast it in my turn that I killed the Wargs. And so Shagger goes and has more hits than attacks because of battle focus.
Yeah.
Wounding very well and kills the Behemoth
outright
before it strikes because of Potion of Swiftness.
Whoa.
That's a real unfortunate duel for that Behemoth to make. He chose the wrong orc to pick on there.
Yeah, man.
And I basically, so this is at the end of Dawid's turn, I reform or whatever to get as close to getting into Dawid's deployment zone. I've got my turn 4 to run. We double checked that I was allowed to combat reform at the end of Dawood's turn 4 and then march in my turn 4 to get into the deployment zone, because I know there's some funny rules about you can't do a combat reform into the breakthrough zone or whatever.
You don't lose scoring or nothing like that.
No, exactly, yeah, because it then went into my turn where I would have regained scoring and I marched in. So I wasn't doing the combat reform in my turn, I was doing it in Dawood's turn before. And yeah, I managed to march into the combat zone. What made it possibly even worse for Dawood was my spider goes through the horsemen to get their points as well.
That's pretty good.
What a turnaround on this flank. I don't know why there's a boar unit there at all.
Dead pile.
Yeah, probably. And yeah, what a turnaround. And I tell you what, I played terribly in the first 1 or 2 turns of this. Losing my right flank and not getting the Gargantua involved for 2 or 3 turns, was really poor, sloppy play on my part. And I managed to turn it around into an objective win.
Whoa, that's crazy.
The Feral's getting in by inches, his Asklanders missing by inches. It deserved to be a 10-10, I think.
Yeah.
But I'll take it, especially on 0 points from the turn before. Dawood was pretty disappointed by this turnout. I don't blame him at all. It was a bit of a gutting one to lose on objective. But yeah, talk about
snatch and grab.
Yeah.
So you quickly packed up, shook his hand, and then left.
Run away, calling him Deej as I went.
Right.
Oh man.
Okay,
sorry,
crazy.
Dawood. I apologise to Dawood a few times throughout the weekend for this. Even the day after, I reminded him of it just to make sure he wasn't trying to forget. It was really good fun. He's a great opponent, really nice guy. Beautiful army. Obviously, I'm probably going to say it was a good battle in the end, but had I continued the way I started this battle, I would have been crying myself to sleep because I've made so many mistakes. But I guess my chaff game was fairly good,
Yeah, lots of it.
There was that. And yeah, thanks for the game, Dawood. So I go into round 3 with 13 points instead of 0, which is something, it's
absolutely
a decent place to be. It's not a great place to be, but it's recoverable. And I was exhausted after this one. I was really kicking myself for the mistakes I made. And I was knackered. How I came out with this win, I do not know. But yeah. I mean, obviously, Dawood possibly shouldn't have charged his Asklander BSB into my ferals. If he just flies over them, he will win. So
Maybe.
I've only got 1 turn to get to his deployment zone. And I think I needed the combat reform to be facing the right way to march in.
I mean, his trolls go in. There's a different kettle of fish. He's got flaming swords, I guess. I don't know whether that actually works in your favour or not.
Well, it gives me the +1 to wound, even if it is rerollable. So. But yeah,
interesting.
Anyway, let us know in the comments what you thought. Did I steal this one from Dawood? Yes. And yeah, let us know what you think about it. Yeah, let's roll on to your round 2. Who you got?
Yes.
Who you got?
I've got one of the Spanish meta in Killer Dawn.
Ooh, cool.
So it's me versus Killer Dawn in a Highborn Elf off.
Love it. I'm already looking forward to it, apart from the high elf part. But
yeah.
All right, so roll on. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, give us some comments. Love responding to them. Check out our Patreon if you want to be one of the elite, cherished members of our Patreon.
Also,
we love so much.
I guess for a week or two, we'll be plugging our Golden State Gaming Cross-Atlantic Challenge.
Yeah, well, we're kind of calling the Vale Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Those who know what the Ryder Cup is will see what we've done there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. So yeah, Swamp Swimmer Vespasian, we come in for you.
And if you guys want to get involved in any of that, there's a forum thread done by Swamp Swimmer, I believe.
Vespasian did it actually, I think.
Oh, either one. Yeah. One of them boys.
One of them. I don't know which is which.
One of the Yanks. They all look the same, the Yanks, don't they?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I'll put a link in the description if anybody wants to go check that out. Post some ideas for list building, and of course, support the PTG, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only one winner there, isn't there? The dice. Right, so we'll see you for the next one. Round 2 rolls on. Thanks, everybody.
See you later.